Okay, here's a new battle video that you requested, the iPhone 15 Pro Max versus the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. Let's jump in. First things first, let's get this out of the way. Either one of these phones plays in its own category. This is not even a fair comparison, but with that being said, let's start off with the prices. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 will start off at $1,800 if you want to pick up one of these bad boy right here, $1,800. And of course, the iPhone 15 Pro Max will start off at $1,200, and that'll be for the base 256 gigs. And by the way, base here is also 256 gigs. And with that, you will get 12 gigs of RAM on the Z Fold 5, whether you go for the 256, 512, or 1 terabyte. And you'll get 8 gigs of RAM on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now let's go ahead and talk design here. Of course, this is subjective, but obviously the Z Fold 5 here is a foldable, right? It's a folding phone. It's already cool. It's advanced technology, top-notch technology here, having, you know, this crazy hinge that is both water and dust resistant on the phone. I mean, that right there just takes away the trophy. But anyways, with the design on the iPhone 15 Pro Max here, you have these rounded corners made of titanium as opposed to armor aluminum on the Z Fold 5 here. Then you have your regular physical features on the iPhone here. You have a USB Type-C port this year, 3.0, which is good. Speakers at the bottom there. You have an action button here. You have a volume rocker, of course, and then of course you have a power button and a camera module on the back there. Top level camera on the Z Fold 5 here. You also do have flagship camera here, top level cameras also, but the camera is better on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Then you have, of course, your physical features, speaker grill, of course. You do have a fingerprint scanner that also combos as the power button on the Galaxy Z Fold 5 here. And if you are like me, I prefer physical fingerprint sensors. So it's very nice to have that on here. When it comes down to sound quality, I don't know, for some reason the iPhone seems louder, but the Z Fold 5 here just seems to be more balanced, maybe because the sound is coming from both sides of the display. Now let's talk display here on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. What you have here is a 6.7 inches display as opposed to what you have on the inside of the Z Fold 5 here, which is a 7.6 inches display. It's a mini tablet. We're essentially comparing a mini tablet to a phone. And then of course you do have a front display here also, and this is a 6.2 inches. Again, something not available on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Again, as I mentioned, it's gonna be just kind of a comparison for fun, right? So let's go ahead and just talk, you know, performance, because display, physical stuff, a lot of things don't apply to the iPhone 15 Pro Max here. Plus the Z Fold here actually does support a Samsung S Pen, so compatible with a stylus. Again, something not available on the iPhone 15 Pro Max here. But anyway, so let's talk performance here. The Z Fold is loaded with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is a really, really powerful chipset here, and it allows you to do so much on the Z Fold. On the iPhone 15 Pro Max, what you have here is the A17 Pro, which is a really powerful chipset, also allows you to do so much. And also the iPhone 15 Pro Max here is more prone to the back shattering as opposed to what I've seen with the Z Fold 5 here. Now, don't get me wrong, either one of these two would be something that you don't want to drop, whether you're picking up the $1,800 Z Fold 5 or the $1,200 iPhone 15 Pro Max here. You wouldn't want to drop either one of these two. So when it comes down to durability, I don't know. I don't think anyone has done drop tests, and I am not willing to test these things out. But, you know, with this being a folding phone, although it's a very, you know, robust and solid built folding phone, I'll still consider it to be something that if you were to drop, it would damage. Just like, you know, this one being a unibody, if you were to drop it, you would also damage, just like we've seen videos online showing all of that. But anyway, so in terms of performance, the iPhone 15 Pro Max has a chipset that's a little bit more powerful than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 that we have on the Z Fold 5, but the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 here is a more efficient chipset. When it comes down to battery, it's done a pretty good job at managing battery on the Z Fold 5, but I've noticed that when I open and I use the display on the inside, battery dies, you know, a bit faster, right? So we're looking at roughly 5 hours screen on time, but when using just the display from the outside, I could go up to a good 7 hours without any issue. It's a pretty large battery, so depending on how you use it, this thing can really last a long time. The iPhone 15 Pro Max here, about the same size, well, slightly larger battery when compared to the 14 Pro Max. Now, when it comes down to camera on the Z Fold 5, you have a bunch of cameras. You have, you know, the selfie camera, the regular selfie camera, you have another selfie camera on the inside, and then of course you have the main camera on the outside. Here you have one selfie camera and then you have one main camera. When it comes down to cameras, I'm not even going to go into too many details. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has better cameras than this. So when it comes down to battery, I'm gonna say the iPhone 15 Pro Max is gonna take that crown. But anyways, let me go ahead and cut the video short and just say that if I had to choose between these two, between the Z Fold 5 and the 15 Pro Max, I would definitely, without hesitating, go with the Z Fold 5, simply because a lot of the things, included on this foldable are very functional. Whether we talking the S Pen that, this thing supports, it does support an S Pen, or whether we're talking the gigantic display there watching movies, playing games, super functional, very nice display here, right? And also just multitasking. This is super functional in terms of like toggling left and right, in between windows, going back and forth. Even Samsung decks, if you want to go ahead and use Samsung decks, all of those features make the Z Fold 5 kind of a no-brainer when it comes down to these two, right? So it's more expensive, but it's also the phone that you would go for. The iPhone 15 Pro Max, of course, if you happen to be within the ecosystem and you want to stay in that ecosystem, then the 15 Pro Max will make more sense for you to go ahead and go after. Anyways, that's just my take. Do you own either one of these? Let me know what your take is. Let me know what your experience has been like using either the iPhone or the Z Fold 5. Let me know which one you would choose. I'll catch you in the comment section with your take. By the way, make sure to like, share the video if you know anyone who will be interested, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm going to catch you in the next video. I'm also going to catch you in the comment section. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.